guys, welcome back to my little area of the internet. I hope you guys are having a great day. Today we are starting a weekly reading vlog, which I'm super excited about because I haven't really done a good one of these yet, and it's only been on like certain books and not a complete week. So the books that we are gonna read this week is The Guest List by Lucy Foley. This one has been on my TBR forever, and I don't know why I haven't started reading it, but I am currently reading this one. I started today, and I have some things to say about this one, so we'll get into that. But then after that book, I want to read The Troop, and this is gonna be like a really spooky, gory type book, I think, and I'm super excited about this one. I feel like not a lot of people have talked about it. It's not like a viral book at all, so that's one reason why I picked it up, because I just wanted to try something that not a lot of people talk about, and so this was one of them. And I'm super excited because I really don't know too much about it, so going in blind I feel like it's always the best. And I always have like better outcomes with books that I don't know too much about, or too much expectations or people's thoughts on it. I always end up really liking those books 10 times more. And then last but not least, I wanted to end with this book because it has received a lot of hype and I'm looking forward to this book the most throughout the week, and that is Then She Was Gone. And this one I kind of talked about in my September TBR, and obviously like I'll be talking to you guys about it here some more, so I won't go into too much detail about this book. But that is the week. I'm really trying to figure out a good rhythm of reading so that, one, I'm not reading just for 8 hours straight to try to get a book in, but trying to go around my work schedule and figuring out like a good reading type schedule. And so hopefully this week I will be able to do that and get more books in that I want to. So yeah, that is that for what books I'm going to be covering this week, or trying to read, hopefully finish, because these have been on my TBR for quite some time and I've been wanting to read them and just experience them and that sort of thing. But I want to talk about this because I have started it, and I was so excited for this one, mostly because, one, I'm a wedding photographer, and so this kind of goes over a wedding that's on like a random island in an Irish island or something like that, and one of them dies, and so we're kind of getting a viewpoint of the bride, the plus one, the best man, the wedding planner, and the bridesmaid, and kind of getting their viewpoints on the day before, like their thoughts on like the events that happened. And then you kind of have like little flashes of the day of the wedding day and what happened, but like not giving obviously like too much detail. And I will be 100% completely honest, like at the moment this is like a 2.5 star for me. I am not interested in it at all, and just like flipping and like kind of reading it, more like skimming through it, like nothing has really caught my attention. I don't know if it was just like the writing style or how she talks about the events, or maybe it's just my expectation was maybe too high and the execution isn't what I am expecting it to be or how I thought it was going to be, so it's just not my all-time favorite. I can see how it has like spooky vibes to it. There are some like descriptions and stuff of the island that make you be like, oh, that's kind of creepy, maybe it's haunted, maybe there's a third party involved, or a ghost, or animals or creatures or whatever, I don't know. And I don't know, like it's not really what I was imagining, and it's not really my vibe at the moment. Now I am also reading a book last week, and I absolutely love that book. It is like insane. Like I don't know why people aren't talking about this specific book, and I have fallen absolutely in love with it. Like low-key maybe a 5-star read for me. And so I think it's maybe because I'm trying to read 2 books at one time that my mind is just focused on that other book, and I'm like, this is like not good. this isn't like matching up to that book. So maybe if I were to just read this one and maybe finish the other book first, I would have been more interested in it, more engaged. But right now, like, nothing is really sticking up here. I can't really imagine the environment fully. Like, I can grasp the idea and like the vision and like the feeling maybe of what's going on, but not necessarily like every single thing like I can with like other books and like the environment and where people are and what's going on type thing. So I don't know why I'm not really into this book, but it may just be the book itself. I have no idea. But so far nothing really has happened. Things are kind of like getting spooky, but then it ends up just being another visitor and like they pranked them, or just like, I don't know, nothing has really happened, and I'm already on 126 pages. I'm kind of thinking of just like finishing the book tonight, even though that's super ambitious since it's already 7 o'clock. And I don't know, I low-key have already read the like last chapter, but not the epilogue where I think the actual answer is, because like I really just didn't care. Like, I was just like over it. I wanted to start another book, and so it has been a day, let me tell you that. So let's read some more, see if maybe at some point during this little reading sesh I will love the book 10 times more. It'll get a little bit more interesting, something will happen hopefully, and then I will probably see you guys tomorrow, hopefully starting the troop, because I'm excited about that one. It has like a different vibe, I feel like, to it, so hopefully that will be better. But yeah, let's get to reading, because this intro has probably been the longest intro of my life. So let's go. It is definitely the next day, and I finished the guest list. I will say I skimmed through this so fast, and I felt like even though I skimmed through it, I got what I needed and I figured out the ending, and that's all that matters. I still stand by my rating of earlier, and I don't know, I maybe had so much expectation with this book that it just wasn't what I was expecting. And it was more so, I will say, it wasn't like a thriller or like I was on my seat the whole time. It was more so like people's backstories and the drama and everything that they have in their life, and then in the end it all makes sense. But still, like, it was, I don't know, it just wasn't my top 10 thriller or anything like that. So that's that. I'm actually kind of glad that I got this off of my TBR, because I can move on and read some more goodness, you know? And unfortunately, that's kind of what I've noticed with the last 2 thriller books that I've read. It's like a very slow burn, and then like literally the last 20 pages of the book you finally get what you've been wanting from the start. So I am a little disappointed, but it is what it is. And hopefully the next book, The Troop, will be more adventurous, more thrilling, and I am kind of having a lot more hope because of this comment. But I'm hoping that I don't hype it up too much in my head to where then I don't like it anymore. So hopefully this one will brighten it up. I definitely am so happy that I saved Then She Was Gone. I was gonna get it because I feel like that's gonna be my favorite one. I absolutely love more so crime-based thriller type books that I've kind of read so far. I don't know what I'm saying. I haven't had coffee yet. We're gonna go do that and read this, and then I also want to go see if Michael's has a journal that I've been wanting. So far I've gone to Walmart, TJ Maxx, Staples, Target, Hobby Lobby, where else have I gone? And nowhere has like the dotted journal that I'm looking for, which is so odd because I feel like it's pretty simple. It's not too hard. Or even like a graph type journal. They're all too big, like they're not what I'm wanting. So let's go do that before I dive into anything else because my mind is going crazy. So let's go. Okay, so I went to Starbucks to get a little fall drink. I ended up not getting a fall drink. I got the brown sugar shaken espresso, which is like my favorite one. If you don't like it, ask for 3 shots instead of 4. Trust me, it is so good. And then I heard that the pumpkin scone is really good. Haven't had it. I'm like a hardcore pumpkin bread fan, so I always stick to that, but I wanted to try it, so here we go. One, I asked for the pumpkin muffin warmed, and they give me a pumpkin scone cold. But I will say that the pumpkin scone is actually really good. I don't know. I don't know if it's the icing that kind of tastes like artificial, but the scone itself is really good. So I would recommend the scone if you want it. But we're gonna go into Michael's real quick and see if they have the journal that I want. So let's go. So it is actually quite a bit later. I went to Michael's and then I decided while I was out to go grocery shopping because we needed some more groceries. But I have been reading The Troop and I like that what the main point of this book is about happens at like the very beginning. Like within 20 pages you're already kind of like going through this journey, and it is kind of crazy, it's kind of eerie, but I also kind of get the vibes that it's kind of like, what are those crazy movies? Oh my goodness, I forgot. Like Scary Movie 3, Scary Movie 2, kind of like, it's like a joke, but it's like scary kind of thing. Like that's kind of the vibe I get sometimes with reading this one. And then I also kind of get the movie It vibes from this, not in the sense of like the actual It movie, but how the characters in that movie, especially like the most recent one, how like the children act, where like they're like super grown up and then they say super like adult things and you're like, wait, what? That's kind of weird. And so I was like uncomfortable watching it the first time just with like how the kids act, and that's kind of how I feel about this one as well. And it's kind of gory, like when they talk about the gory moments of it, like I kind of just laugh because that's like when the Scary Movie type of vibe comes out, and I'm like, this is just like kind of comical. And I really actually, okay, I will say I like this one a little bit more than the guest list, but I don't know if I'm gonna finish this one right now just because I like to read when I'm eating and when I'm just doing stuff, and this one does not fit that vibe. And so I'll probably finish this one at some point, but not this week. Like I kind of want to get to like maybe a book that I will actually like enjoy through and through, and I love everything about it. So I'm hoping that the book that I chose for tomorrow kind of hits a little bit more. and I enjoy it. And so that's that. I also got a book journal, so maybe we'll do that tomorrow too. I think that will be fun. So yeah, I didn't vlog too much today, but I just wasn't really into reading this book too much. Actually, I got pretty far. I'm at 81 pages. Oh my goodness. I mean, you can, oh, there we go. I was like wondering if my camera was just like going crazy, but I like it. I like the format. You get some like news articles and stuff like that here and there. And then I think the boys are going through like either therapy or maybe like an investigation, so they answer questions. I'm not entirely sure, but it's an interesting book. I feel like it would be a good 3 stars if I finished it. It's nothing like too crazy or anything. It's just the gore aspect and the children saying things. I'm just like, not feeling it. So yeah, that's that. I'll see you tomorrow and we'll start, I don't even know what the book is called. I'm so tired, but we'll start that book tomorrow, okay? And we'll have a good day, a good bookish day. Okay, so it is the next day and I find myself once again doing this at like 6 p.m., almost 7 p.m. and we're starting Then She Was Gone. The reason why we started so late was because we're having a little shift change and my husband works nights, and so getting used to that one is hard, and then trying to just like get on my schedule has been really hard. So I end up staying up way later than I should and sleeping in way later than I should. So then here we are. This is like midday for me for some reason, and we are gonna start this. I'm super excited because the last 2 books for this week have been like flukes, and I'm super sad because I don't know, like I just had so much hope for them, and I knew getting into what is it called, the flock, I don't even remember it but the book before, I remember hearing that it was super gory and stuff, but it just wasn't what I was expecting as far as gore. And it's not necessarily like gory, like I was thinking more like slasher, I think what I was thinking. And the gore is like plucking out eyeballs from a creature and smushing it, and it's splattering all over you, that type. And I find it comical, but it's not just like my type of entertainment. So hopefully this one is. I feel like it is because like I've said before multiple times, I love more crime-based thriller suspense type books. So this week has been a bunch of figuring out what I like and don't like in types of books and what I am excited for, and not feeling bad about DNFing a book, even though it is written very well and it got me hooked. Like I kind of wanted to know what happened. It just wasn't specifically my type. So we're gonna start reading this one while I cook dinner, and yeah, hopefully it is good and I like it, and I will get back to you guys on whether or not that is the case. So let's go read. It is finally the last day of the week and I've been pretty busy, so it is a little later than I thought it would be with finishing this book, but I finally finished Then She Was Gone, and I love this book. It was so easy to read, which I was missing with the other 2 books, and I kind of like devoured this within like 2-ish days, well more like 1-ish days, and it was just so good. I think I would rate this like a 3.5. The plot was like, it was good, but then it was also kind of like weird. It was different, and there was just one thing that I didn't see coming, but other than that it was pretty predictable the whole time. But I mean, it was still like good entertainment, if that makes sense. It was like a really easy read, like I said, so it wasn't too complicated to think of. It wasn't necessarily what I was expecting. I thought it would be more so suspenseful and her getting clues left and right type thing, and like, oh my goodness, this is the person, or whatever, that sort of thing. But it was still really good. I feel like all these books, because I don't know what they're about, I have like this weird thought of like what they actually are, and they end up not really being that. So it's always a surprise, which I love. So this one was a really good one. I'm glad I finally found a book that I liked this week, because low-key almost put me in a reading slump. So I'm glad this one made me want to keep on reading. So let me talk about the other 2 books I read this week. Was The Guest List. Would I recommend this? Not really. I don't think it was like that good. If you love like a slow burn to the core, like slow burn, like I'm telling you, like the last 10 pages is probably the hype of like the whole entire thing, then yeah, sure, go for it, read it. But for like a thriller, I need it to be fast-paced and suspenseful the whole entire ride, and this wasn't doing it for me. It was more like a story, and then at the very end the pieces came together and it was just crazy. But I literally skimmed through the whole thing, so I read it in like a day-ish, and it was, I don't know, it just wasn't hitting like I was wanting it to. So I'm kind of glad I don't really have any other books of that sort for the rest of this month, so we don't have to worry about that. And then I read The Troop, and would I recommend this one? I feel like I would to a certain group of people, because it was so interesting and it grabbed you right off the bat. You were so intrigued. You were like, oh my goodness, what is gonna happen? But for me personally, like the gory aspect of like I mentioned, like kids popping eyeballs out and squishing them and it going everywhere, and it being descriptive of that, and just like the way that kids talk to each other, and I just wasn't like a huge fan of that. It wasn't my style, but the writing was good. It was easy to read. It grabbed you. So depending on the person, I would definitely recommend this one. I feel like it would be like a 3.5, maybe even like a 4 if I was to enjoy that sort of category of books. So I didn't finish it, so I can't specifically say the rest of the book, but I got to page like 100-ish, and so that's when I decided to cut the cord. And then obviously this was the last one. I already talked about that one. I think it was like a good reading week, especially for trying to like figure out what type of books I like. I feel like I definitely grasped more understanding of the types of books that I need and want to look for in the future. So yeah, that is it for this week's video, and I hope you guys enjoyed. And if you have any other recommendations regarding this type of book, let me know. And if you know books like this, let me know, so that I don't waste money on certain books. So yeah, I will see you guys somewhere else, and I hope you guys have a great week. Bye.